Hello and welcome everyone to another installment of my series Machine Spotlight, where we take a close look at some of the brand new machines introduced in Horizon Forbidden West. Today, we will be shining a spotlight on the Tideripper. The Tideripper, a member of the heavyweight class, is one of the largest and deadliest machines you will encounter on your journey through the Forbidden West. It is also one of just 4 of the swimming machines, with others including the burrowers, snapmaws, and widemaws. The Tideripper most closely resembles a plesiosaurus, a prehistoric aquatic reptile with its long neck and its 4 flippers. It also seems to draw some inspiration from a whale with its tail fins. In this video, I will be covering useful information such as its locations, weak points, combat strategies, and more. Let's get started by reviewing its locations on the map. The Tideripper has 2 marked sites on the map with another 2 unmarked sites. The first location is located just southeast of Cauldron Moo and the settlement of Stone's Echo. Here, you can find a Tideripper along with a few red-eye watchers. There are also 2 other Tiderippers in the surrounding waters. The second marked location is on the coast, southwest of Thornmarsh. Here, you'll find a lone Tideripper waiting to strike from behind the waves, with no other machines in the immediate area. The first of the unmarked locations is located just northeast of the Quen Outpost Legacy's landfall. Here, you can find a Tideripper swimming beneath the surf among the battered Quen ships. The second of the unmarked locations is directly south from Cauldron Moo, on the border of the map at the ruins of the Hoover Dam. Here, you can find a lone Tideripper hiding just below the waterline. Now, let's take a look at the data point on the Tideripper. The Tideripper, level 26 acquisition heavyweight machine. A large and powerful acquisition machine that filters sediments for resources. Whether on land or in water, it weaponizes purge water for devastating attacks. It is weak versus frost and shock damage, and strong versus fire and purge water damage. Notable loot includes metal shards, purge water, large machine core, Tideripper circulator, Tideripper primary nerve, volatile sludge, machine muscle, braided wire, crystal braiding, luminous brainstem, metal bone, and sturdy hardplate. Now let's take a look at the Tideripper's weak points so we can exploit them in battle. The Purge Water Cannon is a powerful cannon that blasts high-pressure beams of purge water. Detach or destroy both to disable. The sparkers act as shock storage. You will first have to detach the protective plates hiding them and the glow blast canisters. You can then hit them with a well-placed shock arrow to detonate. Two processing capsules atop its head act as resource and material storage for internal functions. Tear them off to collect their contents. It uses its large metal tail as a primary melee weapon. Detach it for a key upgrade resource and to disable tail attacks. The heart serves as its internal core. It is extremely vulnerable to damage, however you will first have to expose it, as demonstrated here. Exhaust ports serve to expel steam. They are vulnerable to damage, but are only extended when purge water supplies are depleted. The tidal disc is a large rotational device that can fire powerful streams of purge water. These streams can be debilitating. The easiest way to avoid them is to detach the tidal disc completely. 2 chill water canisters line the tail, protected by metal plates. You can either tear them off to collect the resource, or shoot with a well-placed frost arrow to detonate. Tail canisters act as storage containers for valuable resources. Tear them off to collect their contents. The purge water sacs lining the stomach act as large purge water storage. Destroy both sacs to fully remove purge water effects from his body slam attacks. However, keep your distance as they are quite explosive. Glow blast canisters act as glow blast storage. Tear them off to collect the resource, or shoot with a well-placed plasma arrow to detonate. Finally, purge water pouches lining its neck act as small purge water storage. Destroy all the pouches to remove the purge water effects from certain attacks. Aim for these weak points and you'll find that it's much easier to take on a Tideripper yourself. Now, let's take a look at the only other variant of the Tideripper, the Apex Tideripper. Apex Tideripper, a level 44 acquisition heavyweight machine, a hunter-killer variant recognizable by black and gold armor plates and purple muscles. It has been modified to be significantly more resilient and deadly. It cannot be overridden. It is weak versus frost and shock damage, and strong versus fire and purge water damage. The Apex Tideripper can provide some valuable loot should you defeat it in combat. It has 100% drop rates for Purge Water, Luminous Brainstem, Apex Tideripper Heart, and Metal Shards. It also drops Tideripper Circulator, Large Machine Core, Tideripper Primary Nerve, Volatile Sludge, Machine Muscle, Braided Wire, Metal Bone, Crystal Braiding, and Sturdy Hardplate. Now, let's take a look at a Tideripper in combat to better study its range of attacks. Dodge as it sweeps its neck along the ground. Here, it uses its Purge Water cannons to propel itself at impressive speed. It uses its Purge Water to power up a devastating belly slam. If you find yourself behind one, watch out for a combination tail sweep and neck sweep. It can also use its flippers for a powerful melee attack. Here, it plunges its massive head into the ground. Make sure to dodge. As I previously mentioned, the title disc can be a pain. Detach it quickly to disable its wide AoE attack.
There it goes.
It fires its Purge Water cannons in either a sweeping motion or a straight line. Despite its massive size, the Tideripper can easily propel its body through the air for a massive belly strike. Finally, the Tideripper can grab chunks of earth from the ground for a ranged attack. They're pretty easy to dodge unless you're Rickon Stark. Finally for this video, let's take a look at how we can override a Tideripper. You will first need to complete the Kappa Cauldron to receive its override. Now, I'll demonstrate overriding a Tideripper in the wild. We're of course going to set it to aggressive. It makes extremely short work of the surrounding burrowers. Unfortunately, I was unable to find a Tideripper site with larger surrounding machines to pit it against. Therefore, overriding a Tideripper is somewhat of a novelty, with little to no practical use. That concludes this installment of Machine Spotlight, where we took a closer look at the Tideripper. Hopefully this video has helped you learn something new about the Tideripper to help you conquer it. Let me know what you think of the Tideripper in the comments below. I love the Tideripper, the design is so well executed. However, I wish it served more of a purpose to override. If I missed anything, let me know. If you liked this video, click the like button and subscribe to my channel for more content like this. I continue to enjoy making this Spotlight series. Let me know what machines you would like to see in future Machine Spotlights. As always, I'm Noxious Asp. Thanks for watching.